One of them has the strongest bite ever measured in a living animal on Earth, and yet you could hold its jaws shut with your bare hands. One of them can swallow a full-grown 77-pound deer whole, then digest it, antlers and all. And one of them, pound for pound, bites down harder than a great white shark, and it's swimming in the same rivers where people fish and kids splash on the weekend. 3 animals. One question. What do they have in common? They're all here, in Florida, right now. And they are only some of the most powerful creatures sharing the state with 22 million people. Florida looks soft. Beaches, golf courses, theme parks, retirement communities, and flat blue water in every direction. But peel back that postcard and you find one of the most concentrated collections of raw animal power anywhere in North America. Apex predators cruising the water, armored giants in the swamp, muscle-bound invaders on the land, and one creature quietly dismantling an entire ecosystem from the inside. It's a subtropical crossroads where native heavyweights and escaped exotics all end up in the same warm water, and the result is a lineup of strength you simply don't find anywhere else in the country. We're going to go through the most powerful animals in Florida and explain exactly what makes each one so formidable. The bite, the squeeze, the sheer mass, the killing strategy. And by the end, you'll understand something surprising. That power in Florida comes in several completely different forms, and the single most powerful force in this entire state isn't the biggest or the scariest animal on the list. Keep watching, because it's the last one. But first, a quick idea to carry through the whole video, because people collapse it into one thing, and it isn't. Power is not a single number. There's bite force, how hard an animal can clamp its jaws down, measured in pounds per square inch. There's constriction, how hard a body can squeeze, choking off blood and breath. There's raw mass and muscle, how much an animal can move, overpower, and carry. And there's ecological power, the quiet ability to reshape an entire environment, which turns out to be the most consequential kind of all. Different animals on this list are champions of completely different kinds of strength. So when you hear that one animal is more powerful than another, always ask, powerful how? The alligator would lose an arm wrestle if squeezing to the python couldn't crack a turtle shell the way the gator can, and the little bull shark would outbite them both for its size. Comparing them is half the fun, and it's the thread that runs through everything that follows. So let's start in the water with a giant most people have never even heard of. The Goliath grouper. Start with a wall of muscle that hides on a reef. The Goliath grouper is the largest bony fish in the Atlantic Ocean, a solitary behemoth that can reach 8 feet long and weigh up to 800 pounds, roughly the size of a small car, hovering almost motionless over a wreck or a ledge. It doesn't look fast, and it isn't. Its power is of a different kind entirely. The Goliath doesn't bite its prey so much as inhale it. It opens that cavernous mouth and generates a suction so powerful it vacuums entire fish, crabs, and even small sharks out of the water in a single, explosive gulp. Faster than the eye can follow, the whole strike is over in a fraction of a second. And it defends its territory with intimidation. You can feel in your chest, booming a deep, rumbling sound with its swim bladder that divers describe as a physical thump against the body. A warning, that means back off. There are even accounts of Goliaths so bold they'll shadow a spearfisher and try to steal the entire catch off the line, or charge to defend their patch of reef. It was once fished nearly to oblivion. The Florida record fish weighed 680 pounds. Then it was protected in 1990, and it's slowly clawing its way back. A gentle giant, mostly, but 800 pounds of muscle that eats by swallowing the ocean whole. And the next animal is faster and far more willing to use its power on you. The bull shark. Here is one of the most dangerous predators in Florida, and its power hides a nasty surprise. The bull shark is stocky, blunt-nosed, and heavily muscled, usually 7 to 11 feet long, though a 1,000-pound female was once hauled up near the Keys. It doesn't have the size of a great white or the fame of a hammerhead. What it has is the strongest bite, pound for pound, of any shark in the sea. Scientists measured it directly. A 9-foot bull shark bites down harder than a great white of the very same size. Where the great white wins overall, it's only because it grows so much bigger. The bull shark's secret is the width of its jaws. Broad, powerful, and packed with heavily serrated teeth built to saw clean through turtles, dolphins, and other sharks. Researchers have seen sea turtles bitten in half, but here's what truly sets the bull shark apart, and why it lands on a Florida list specifically. It can live in fresh water. Special glands let its body hold onto salt so it can leave the ocean entirely and swim up rivers, into canals, into brackish estuaries. The exact shallow, murky, inshore water where people wade, fish, and swim. It's also considered one of the top 3 sharks involved in attacks on humans worldwide, alongside the tiger and the great white. And the man who ran Florida's shark research program said the bull is the one he'd personally worry about most. Combine one of the most powerful bites in the ocean with a bold temperament and a tolerance for the water in your own backyard, and you have a predator that commands genuine respect. And the bull shark isn't alone out there. Florida's coasts are patrolled by other heavyweight sharks whose power comes mostly from size. Great whites cruise through in the cooler months, tiger sharks crush sea turtle shells with ease, and great hammerheads, which can top 13 feet, are among the strongest biting sharks in the sea by raw force. But it's the bull shark's pound-for-pound punch and its habit of coming inshore that make it the one to know. Now let's come ashore to the most powerful land animal in the state, the Florida black bear. People forget Florida even has bears. It does, the Florida black bear, a subspecies of the American black bear and the largest land mammal in the state. A big male can top 400 pounds, and despite the gentle lumbering image, it is astonishingly strong. Bears can flip 100-pound rocks like paving stones and tear apart rotten logs with casual ease, hunting for the insects underneath, and their forelimbs carry enough power to snap a limb or peel back a car door in a single swipe. Pound for pound, a black bear is estimated to be several times stronger than a human of the same weight, with a bite that can crack bone and claws built for digging and tearing. But the black bear's real story is the mismatch between its strength and its temperament. It is powerful enough to be a genuine threat, yet by nature it's shy, food-motivated, and eager to avoid people entirely. It would rather raid your garbage can, break into a screen porch for pet food, or climb a tree than confront you, and confronted with a human, it will almost always flee. That's the theme of this whole list, starting to show itself. Raw power and actual danger are 2 very different things. The bear has the muscle of a monster and the disposition of a nervous neighbor. The next animal has plenty of muscle too, and unlike the bear, it was never supposed to be here at all. The wild boar. Florida's wild boar, the feral hog, is a powerhouse the state has been fighting for centuries. Descended from domestic pigs and European wild boar brought over by early settlers, these animals have gone completely feral and spread into all 67 counties, and they are built like battering rams. A big boar can weigh well over 200 pounds, low and dense and impossibly strong, with a thick shield of cartilage over the shoulders and a pair of sharp, self-sharpening tusks. Their power is in that low center of gravity and explosive charge. A cornered or wounded boar can knock a grown person clean off their feet, and those tusks inflict deep, slashing wounds. They injure hunters and kill hunting dogs nearly every year, and a charging hog can move faster over short distances than most people expect. Worse, they use that strength to destroy. A group of hogs can plow up an entire field, pasture, or wetland overnight, rooting through the soil with their muscular snouts like a fleet of living rototillers, flipping over turf and uprooting native plants in a search for roots and grubs. Across the state, they cause tens of millions of dollars in damage every year, and there are estimated to be hundreds of thousands of them in Florida alone. Its brute strength turned into an ecological wrecking ball, a reminder that an animal doesn't need fangs or venom to be one of the most destructive forces in a landscape. And it's a preview of the theme that closes this video, because the most powerful animals in Florida increasingly aren't the natives at all. But first, the state's most iconic predator, the Florida panther. The panther is Florida's ghost, the Florida panther, the state's own subspecies of the puma, and one of the rarest large cats in North America. Once down to just a couple dozen animals, it clings on in the swamps and forests of South Florida, and it is pure, predatory power wrapped in muscle and silence. A male can weigh up to 160 pounds, and it is built for one thing: the ambush. The panther is explosively strong and can leap distances that seem impossible for its size, launching onto prey and killing large animals, deer and wild hogs, with a single crushing bite to the neck or the base of the skull. It stalks in absolute silence on huge padded paws, gets close, and ends the hunt in seconds. A single panther roams a territory of up to 200 square miles, and pound for pound, it's one of the most powerful athletes in the entire state, a compact engine of muscle, patience, and precision. But its story carries a warning that leads us straight to the final animals, because this magnificent cat is now competing for its very survival against something new in the Everglades, something that has quietly become the most powerful force in the whole ecosystem. First, though, the animal Florida is famous for: the American alligator. You knew it was coming. The American alligator is the icon of the Florida swamp, up to 13 feet and 800 pounds of armored, prehistoric muscle with more than 1 million of them spread across the state. And it is the undisputed bite force champion of this entire list. Scientists strapped a force meter between the jaws of a wild alligator and recorded nearly 3,000 pounds per square inch, one of the most powerful bites ever measured in any living animal, more than 18 times the force of a human bite, strong enough to crush a turtle shell or a mammal's bones outright. And it pairs that bite with one of the most brutal techniques in nature, the death roll, seizing prey in those jaws and spinning its entire armored body with explosive force to twist and tear off chunks of flesh too big to swallow. It's been essentially unchanged for tens of millions of years, a design so effective it never needed improving. But here's the twist that makes the alligator perfect for this video, because its power is strangely one-sided. All of that muscle is dedicated to snapping the jaws shut. The muscles that open the jaws are almost laughably weak. So weak, in fact, that a person can hold an alligator's mouth closed with their bare hands, which is exactly why wildlife handlers secure a captured gator's jaws with a few wraps of ordinary duct tape. The strongest bite in Florida sits behind a mouth you could hold shut. It's the ultimate lesson that power is more complicated than it looks. But the alligator isn't the only armored heavyweight in these waters. The American crocodile. Because Florida is the one place on Earth where alligators and crocodiles live side by side, and the American crocodile is the alligator's leaner, saltier, and in some ways more formidable cousin. It is actually the larger species. Big Florida individuals reach 13 or 14 feet. It has a narrow, pointed snout and a toothy grin, and unlike the freshwater alligator, it thrives in the salt, in coastal mangroves, estuaries, and the warm canals of South Florida, with a body equipped with glands that let it purge the sea. It carries the same crushing crocodilian bite and the same death roll power, driven by the very jaw-closing muscle that runs through the whole family. What's remarkable is its comeback. Hunted and squeezed nearly out of existence, the Florida population once fell to just a few hundred animals and was listed as endangered. Today, thanks to protection, there are around 2,000 adults, and it has been downgraded to threatened, a genuinely powerful predator clawing its way back along the exact coastline where millions of people live, and yet so shy it has never been responsible for a confirmed human death in the United States. Two armored giants sharing one state, and yet neither of them is the animal that closes this list, because the most powerful force in Florida has no armor at all, and no remarkable bite. It leaves us with one final animal, the one that may be the most powerful of all, in the way that matters most. The Burmese python. It doesn't have the bite of the alligator or the speed of the panther. It doesn't need them. The Burmese python is an invasive constrictor from Southeast Asia, dumped into the Everglades through the pet trade, and it has quietly become one of the most powerful forces in the state, not through a single dramatic weapon, but through sheer, patient, overwhelming strength. These snakes routinely exceed 15 feet, and the largest caught in Florida have pushed past 18. Its power is the squeeze. A python strikes, latches on with backward curving teeth, and throws its coils around the prey, then tightens, not crushing bones, but clamping down hard enough to stop blood flow and shut down the heart in minutes. Then it swallows the animal whole, its jaws stretching around bodies far wider than its own head. Biologists have documented Florida pythons swallowing full-grown deer, and even alligators. One was found consuming a 77-pound deer, a meal nearly 2/3 the snake's own weight. And here is why it earns the final spot. This one animal is dismantling an entire ecosystem. In the parts of the Everglades where pythons have taken hold longest, raccoons have declined by over 99%, opossums by 99%, bobcats by nearly 90%, and marsh rabbits, foxes, and cottontails have effectively vanished from some areas altogether. The python is starving out the native predators, the endangered Florida panther among them, by devouring the prey they all depend on, sending a cascade of loss rippling through the whole food web. It has almost no natural enemies here. It breeds prolifically, and it hides so well in the sawgrass that for everyone that's found, many more are never seen. In a single summer of 2025, removal teams pulled more than 1,000 pythons out of the Everglades, nearly triple the previous year, and it has barely dented the population. That is a different kind of power entirely. Not the strongest bite or the biggest body, but the ability to rewrite an entire landscape. So line them all up, and Florida reveals the real shape of power. The Goliath grouper swallows the sea with suction. The bull shark bites harder for its size than a great white, and does it in your backyard canal. The black bear has the muscle of a monster and the nerves of a house cat. The wild boar is a living wrecking ball. The panther is a silent, explosive killer. The alligator has the single strongest bite of any animal here, behind jaws you could hold shut with your hands, and its salt-loving cousin the crocodile matches it. Armor for armor along the coast. And the python, with no remarkable bite and no speed at all, is quietly the most powerful of them all, because it's the one actually reshaping Florida itself. None of this is a reason to fear the state, and it's worth remembering that Florida's biggest animal of all is one nobody fears at all, the manatee, a 1,000-pound gentle giant that spends its days grazing on seagrass and couldn't hurt you if it tried, living proof that raw size and danger are completely unrelated. The overwhelming truth is that these animals want almost nothing to do with you. They hunt, they hide, they flee, and serious encounters are genuinely rare. But it should change how you see that soft Florida postcard. Underneath the beaches and the golf courses is one of the most powerful cast of animals on the continent, each one a different answer to the same question. How do you survive and dominate in the wild? So the next time someone tells you Florida is all theme parks and retirees, you'll know exactly what's swimming in the canal, prowling the swamp, and squeezing its way through the Everglades, and just how many different kinds of powerful a place can be.